All right, let's go. Hey, I've been banging my head against a solid brick wall playing Fortress of Nurn for weeks. And now I'm going to play a quest where I have my full deck available to me. The quest itself isn't going to try to destroy me in the first reveal of a card, so I'm looking forward to playing this. This is the Hunt for the Dreadnought. It's the POD that would have came out at Gen Con if it hadn't been canceled due to the pandemic. And I'm going to play standard mode. There's also easy mode and hard mode. So for setup, I got to prepare my fleet. I'll show you what ship I'm choosing here in a moment. I got to prepare the Corsair deck. I got to set aside a bunch of enemies. I got to discard cards until I get 2 locations discarded and add them to the staging area. And then I'm going to flip this card over and put it next to the quest. To make the Corsairs deck, you take all non-ship enemies and shuffle them together. These guys have the pillage keyword, which can make you discard cards off the top of your deck. And they engage you whenever a ship is engaged that has the boarding keyword. I'm hoping my deck will avoid engaging any of these guys. No boarding for me! You also need to set aside these 6 unique Corsair enemies. These guys will engage you in the latter quarter of the game, and they're all pretty nasty, and they do bad things. So no matter what, you're going to have to engage one of these guys, and you don't know which one. Makes it really fun, because you don't know which one of these baddies you're going to have to deal with. We also have the Dreadnought itself, this huge oversized card. It's got a side A and a side B. We'll look at those when it comes into play. And it has the massive keyword, which means it stays in the staging area, and then it is considered engaged with each player. So big nasty card, and like I said, when it comes into play, we will look at it in more detail. We also have some Gondorian warships that can come into play once we get to stage 2, and they can help you out, so you set those aside. And then, like I said, this was supposed to be released at Gen Con, so there's a lot of stuff that pertains to playing with multiple teams, playing the quest and stuff. But this says it has a global quest point value of 8 per player among all groups, so I alone have to make 8 progress here. And then it says no more than 5 progress per player can be placed on the stage each round, and then the players can only advance at the end of the quest phase. So it's got that cool person icon that we see in Marvel Champions that means per player. And then the other side of the setup card says quest action, deal 10 damage to a non-unique enemy engaged with a player in any group, and then reveal the top card of the encounter deck. As I said, we each get to pick a card to add to our fleet. There's 6 ships available, and you can choose one. I have chosen the Pride of Lebanon. It's 3 willpower, 2 attack, 5 defense, 16 hit point, and it has 2 sides. That's the basic side. It's also Sentinel. It's immune to player card effects. Each of my heroes get +1 defense, and then forced, and this is why I like it, when you draw your starting hand, draw 5 additional cards. Then shuffle 5 cards from your hand into your deck. You cannot take a mulligan. Very, very cool. Side B, it gets a boost to its stats. Each hero is going to get +2 defense. And then when it flips, I can heal 2 damage from a character, and then I can choose 2 cards in the encounter discard pile and add them to the victory display. Alright, so let's talk about the deck I'm bringing. It's going to be a Grey Wanderer deck that says I only can have 1 starting hero, and then I can search my deck for an attachment with the printed cost of 1 and put it into play, and then flip this card over. Side B says the first non-unique card I play each planning phase does not require a resource match, and then I can take an action, exhaust this card, raise my threat by 1 to choose 2, ready your starting hero, add 2 resources to the starting hero's resource pool, or heal 3 damage from your starting hero. And who is my hero going to be? Well, it should come as no surprise. It's going to be Haldir. Man, after banging my head against that brick wall of Nurn, it's good to get Haldir back in play and see what he can do. But I'm not just playing Haldir. Oh, no. Thanks to Splice, I am playing Foil Haldir. Yes, it's Haldir, but with extra shine. It's like he used some really special conditioner or something in his hair. Look at him, he looks great. All right, so he's got 2 willpower, 3 attack, 1 defense, 3 hit points. He is Sylvan, Ranger, Scout, ranged, and then combat action. If you have not engaged an enemy this round, exhaust Haldir of Lorien to declare him as an attacker and resolve his attack against an enemy not engaged with you, limit once per round. I will also be using the One Ring. It's restricted. It's immune to non-master card effects. I'm going to attach it to a hero I control, and then search my deck for a master card and add it to my hand, and then shuffle my deck. My threat elimination level is reduced by 5. If the One Ring leaves play, the players lose the game. The one card I'm going to be finding is Strength and Courage. It's a master card attached to the ring with the One Ring. Attached to the hero with the One Ring. Limit 1 per hero. Attached hero gets +1 attack. Response: after attached hero is declared as an attacker, exhaust the One Ring and raise your threat by 1 to double attached hero's printed attack for this attack. That means Haldir will be swinging for 7 if I trigger that. All right, let's get to the game. First of all, my ship is going to let me do that fantastic ability of drawing 11 cards and then shuffling 5 of them back into my deck. I'm really hoping to get some secrecy cards. I need to get some willpower going. Strider is the card I'm going to be finding per the Grey Wanderer ability, but there's a chance I could get it right here, and then I get to find something else. So let's see what we got. Woodman's Clearing, that's going to let me reduce my threat by 3 after the attached location's explored. Song of Battle will give Haldir the tactics icon. During play testing, I sometimes had more than one tactics card I wanted to play in a single round. Oh, there's a good card. Secrecy, Timely Aid. It's only going to cost 1 resource. I can play it if it's the first card I play. I get to search the top 5 cards of my deck for an ally and put it in play. There's a nice ally. Costs 3. He's an Ent. He enters play exhausted, but he has awesome stats, and then he can he can heal an Ent character when he readies. All right, second Song of Battle. I'll shuffle that back in. All right, Daron's Runes. We all know this card. Draw 2 cards, and then discard a card from my hand. So some good card draw there. Speaking of good card draw, Master of the Forge. I can exhaust him, search the top 5 cards for an attachment, and add the attachment to my hand. An expensive ally, Galdor. When I discard a card, he lets me draw a card. That's a good card to find with Timely Aid. He'll probably get shuffled back. All right, Doomed to Deep Knowledge. Each player draws 2 cards. Just some nice card draw, and with a starting threat of 9, I don't need to worry. Another great secrecy card. It's only going to cost me 1, and I get to generate an extra resource every round. Keeping my threat low with Gladrim's Greeting. I can play that if it's the first card I play, and drop my threat by 6. So I got some good cards. I drew 2 secrecy cards, so I'm very happy to see those, so I'll definitely be keeping that. You can see I'm pulling out Galdor, and I don't need both Song of Battles, so now I need to find 3 more cards. I decide I don't need the Gladrim's Greeting since I have the Woodman's Clearing. I don't need 2 threat reduction cards in my opening hand. And so now I'm just debating what other 2 cards I want to get rid of. You got to kind of make your choices. Like, what's your priorities right now? I assume Timely Aid is going to get me an ally that has some willpower. So I decide to drop the Welling Hall Preserver, especially because he enters play exhausted, so he's not useful on my opening turn anyway. And then I have one more decision to make. After thinking about it, it's going to be one of the card draw cards. Master of the Forge draws me cards every round once I get him in play, so I decide to get rid of Daron's Runes. Even though it pains me, I really like Daron's Runes. I start to shuffle, and then I remember I'm supposed to pull out some cards. So there's one, Strider. That's going to go on Haldir. That's the card I'm pulling out per the Grey Wanderer's effect. And then the One Ring lets me find my Master card. And there it is, Strength and Courage. So I now have that card. Strider goes right into play, and Strength and Courage is going to go into my hand. So Strider, this is a card I always play wrong. Attached to a hero, while you control 2 or fewer heroes, the attached hero does not exhaust a quest, and while you control 5 or fewer characters, attached hero gets +2 willpower. Alright, so I got my 6 cards. I got Strider in play. Strength and Courage is now added to my hand, so that's 7 cards. So to start the game, Haldir can quest for 4, and the ship can add 3 willpower as well. So, I'm starting out with 7 willpower, but I have to now discard cards until I get 2 locations. So I'm probably adding 4 or 5 threat. There's a location. And there's my second location. So I believe that is going to be 5 threat. So this one says, while it's the active location, the boarding value of each ship enemy is -1. And then this one enters play with 1 resource per player. And then when a ship enemy enters play, you discard a resource. And then if you clear that location, explore it, you get to add the resources that are left on it to a hero. So kind of cool. So the 2 ships the 2 locations I got actually both have beneficial effects. So a little lucky there. All right, so we're going to start the game. My starting threat is 9. I'm going to give myself 1 resource. I draw my card, and hey, Daron's Ruins is back. All right, nice. And the first card I'm going to play is a Timely Aid, because it is a non-unique card, and the first card I play does not need a resource match. So I get to look at the top 5 cards of my deck and put an ally into play, and holy crap. I mean, talk about good choices. Treebeard, Gildor, the Welling Hall Preserver's back. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing, but I'm pretty sure all of you would unsubscribe if I didn't put Furial into play. I mean, she is just insane. She's easily one of the best allies in the game. There's probably a chance she's the best ally. She's a 3/1/2/3, and then after she commits to the quest, you get to look at the top card of the encounter deck and then discard it if you want. You still need to reveal a different card, but she basically lets you get rid of a really nasty card that's coming off the deck. She's really great. Okay, so I decide to trigger the Grey Wanderer, which means I raise my threat by 1, and I'm going to give myself 2 resources per its effect. I only can play lore cards now, or neutral. So I put in Resourceful, so that means I will be generating an extra resource at the planning phase each round. Not the planning phase, the resource phase. I will get an extra resource. That's 1 resource, so I have 1 resource left. Not many options. I decide to do the Doomed to draw 2 cards. And I get a Hail of Stones, which lets you exhaust X characters and deal X damage to an enemy in staging. And then I also get a Secrecy ally, Secrecy 2 Athelian Lookout. So he only costs 1, he has 2 attack, but when he enters play, you get to look at the top card of the encounter deck, and if it's an enemy, you can discard it. It is not an enemy, it's just going to be another 2 threat location, so I'm going to keep that, knowing I have no combat to worry about this phase. And I'm just going to be sending everybody on the quest because why not? I know I don't have to do anything after the quest phase. So Haldir doesn't have to exhaust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I forget I have the ship. So I'm sending 8, but I later remember the ship. So 8 against 7. I make 1 progress on the quest, soon to be 4 when I remember I actually have that ship sitting there. And I have nothing else to do except travel, so I'll travel to the 3 threat location that I could potentially get a resource from as long as I don't have a ship enemy come out. I raise my threat, I give myself 2 resources, and I'm going to draw a card, and it is the Galadriel Minstrel. She costs 2, she quests for 1, but when she enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an event and add it to your hand. Man, is it nice to have these cards at the beginning of the game. That's what makes Nurn so hard. There I go. I remember I have a ship. We're on a ship. Don't forget. Alrighty. So, I'm going to attach the Woodman's Clearing to the active location. I can go on any location, but right now I don't have a way to clear locations in the staging area. I'm going to play a Song of Battle on Haldir. He can now pay for tactics cards. I don't need to worry about it being the first card I play. And that means I can play Strength and Courage. So those are my 2 resources. I haven't triggered the Grey Wanderer yet, so I might as well. So I'll exhaust that, raise my threat by 1, give myself 2 resources, and now do I want to look for an event or do I want to find another attachment? I decide to go for an event. So I'm going to spend the 2 resources to put in the Galadriel Minstrel, search my top 5 cards for an event. And I only get 1, but it's a good one. It's Timely Aid. So I'll be able to play that at the start of the next planning phase. Very happy to see 2 Timely Aids in the first 3 rounds of the game. That's pretty awesome. But, you know, when you're drawing lots of cards, odds are you're going to see them. Okay, so I have no resources. But already my board state's looking pretty darn good. So I'm going to send the ship this time. I'm not going to forget. I still control 5 characters, so I get the boost on Haldir. 1 more character, and I no longer get the +2 boost. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There I am. I'm counting my characters. I'm making sure. 8, 9, 10. I'm up against 4, and I decide, what the heck, let's send the team. So I decide to send 12. So it's 12 against 4, and Furial could get rid of this. So it's attached to a ship objective. It counts as a condition attachment. When it exhausts, deal 2 damage to it. And I need to exhaust 3 characters to remove that condition attachment. And I decide that's really not that bad. So I'm going to keep that card. Furial's going to keep it. That does clear that active location. So that's going to give me that resource. It's going to drop my threat by 3. I'm going to make 6 out of the 8 progress I need. And just in case you're wondering, if you haven't played Furial very much, when she commits to the quest, you already have to decide who else is committed to the quest. You commit all your characters at the exact same time. So you don't get to just commit her, peek at that card, and then decide who else to send. You got to send everybody all at once. All right, so I did grab that resource. I once again have no enemies. So it's a travel phase. They're both 2 threat. The one reduces the boarding value if it's the active location. And then the other one is a 5 threat location. I'm sorry, a 5 progress location. And it does something nasty if I cancel any when revealed effects. But I don't have a way to cancel when revealed effects. So that's not going to do anything. Now that ship still has that condition attachment. So I need to exhaust 3 characters to get rid of it. That said, whenever the ship exhausts, I need to damage it. Okay, so I draw a Deep Knowledge, Doom 2, draw 2 cards. But the first card I'm going to play is Timely Aid, because the first card I play doesn't require a resource match. So let's see what I get here. Top 5 cards. I believe this time I have a very easy decision. I can play Galdor. After a card is discarded from my hand, I get to draw a card. And Furial is the only other ally, so really not even a choice. So Galdor, cost 4. Get to put it in for 1. That's pretty good. So between those 2 allies right there, that's 9 resources worth of allies that I only paid 2 resources for. Pretty darn cool. All right, Daron's Runes. Draw 2 cards. Now I'm going to have to discard a card from my hand. Well, I draw Furial, so obviously I'll discard that. And then Galdor is going to draw me a card. And I get the Welling Hall Preserver. All right, so there's my hand. I decide I'm going to put in the second Galadriel Minstrel and see if I can't find another Timely Aid. No Timely Aid, but there is a Daron's Rune, so I might as well grab that. Galdor's ability is limit once per round or phase. I can't think off the top of my head. I just took a peek. It's limit once per round. All right, I'll trigger the Grey Wanderer, raise my threat by 1, get 2 resources. That's going to let me put in the Master of the Forge. He costs 2, and then he can exhaust, and I get to look at the top 5 cards of my deck for an attachment and add it to my hand. So right here I'm deciding which 3 characters I want to exhaust to get rid of that condition attachment. And I decide all those 3 because each of them only quests for 1. So I get rid of that, and now the Master of the Forge is going to search the top 5. And here, the cards I draw, I got to make a kind of strategic decision. I drew 3 attachments. I could drop my threat by 3 again. The Golden Belt lets me hold an additional restricted attachment. Currently, Haldir has 1 restricted attachment, the Ring. And then I drew the Bow of the Galadriel, which really helps with combat because it lets you attack for 2 more when attacking an enemy not engaged with you. I decide to play the belt, even though I only have 1 restricted attachment at the moment, because I only have 1 copy of the belt in the deck, and I have 3 copies of the bow. So my thought is, the odds are Master of the Forge is going to dig me out a copy of that bow easier than it would ever dig me out a copy of that belt. Alright, so Haldir is no longer boosted. Then we're going to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I get the enemy with the highest engagement cost is going to do something nasty or it surges. So I don't have a choice. I have to reveal this card. And it sucks because it says when it's in the staging area, it can't be damaged. The whole point of this deck is Haldir was supposed to snipe these ships out of the staging area. And I get the only ship that can't be damaged while it's in the staging area. And there's nothing I could have done about it, because that card that came out before it was going to surge. So if Furial had gotten rid of it, I would have revealed this ship. And if I didn't get rid of it, it still would have revealed the ship, because I didn't have a ship in play. But I do make enough progress to clear that active location. I'm going to travel here. That reduces the boarding value, but I can't engage that thing. It's got a board. It'd still be boarding 2. I mean, my deck does not defend. That is not what that deck does. So that's just going to have to stay in staging, which means every round from here on out, archery 4. Not the worst with Grey Wanderer, since I can heal 2 damage on Haldir every round, but still, archery 4. Yuck. Alright, so someone else has got to take some archery here. I decided to put it on Galdor. He has 3 hit points, so he takes 2. Yeah, I can't attack into the staging area, which really sucks because I was looking forward to sinking some ships. But yeah, we're just going to advance the round. Haldir's going to get his 2 resources. Drawing a card. Elfstone. Nice. Attached to a location. Attached location gets +1 quest point. And then you get to put an ally into play from your hand. Alright, Grey Wanderer. Raise my threat. Get 2 resources. Heal the 2 damage off of Haldir. I have 4 resources. I'm going to do Doomed 2. Draw 2 more cards. Whoop, there it goes. Alright, I get Mablung, which he's a good quester, and then I get another reduce your threat by 3. After he enters play, you can choose an enemy. You can push it back to the staging area. You can give it +5 engagement. But really, he just quests for 2. Alright, I got my other Timely Aid. Pretty awesome. I can't play it right now. But I discard Furial from Daron's Rune's effect, and I draw Treebeard. So I do have 4 resources. Timely Aid will be used next turn. Trying to decide what to do. I decide to play the Elfstone. So that's going to add 1 quest point to that active location. It costs 1. And then here I make a mistake. So I apologize here. I usually play the card, pay the card. So I put him into play. I put the exhaustion token on him, and that made me notice Master of the Forge hasn't been used yet. And so I throw an exhaustion token on Master of the Forge, and that messes up my rhythm. I never actually pay for that Welling Hall Preserver. It's hard to say how much impact it would have had on the end of the game because my board state is looking pretty crazy already. Lots of hit points, lots of questing power. It might have slowed me down just a hair, but I don't think this game would have been a loss if I hadn't got this ally in on this turn. But it is a mistake, and I apologize for that. Alright, so now I have 2 resourcefuls in play. I'm going to be generating a lot of resources each round, up to 5 a round. Dwelling Hall Preserver, obviously, he's exhausted when he enters play, so he's not doing anything, but I am questing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm only up against 3. I need to make, I think that's 5 progress to clear that active location. And I get a 2 threat location, so not worried about that. That's a good one to have. And I make just enough to clear it because the Elfstone added that 1 progress. So it was a 4 progress location. Elfstone makes it a 5 progress location. Of course, the ally I'm going to put in for just 1 resource there is Treebeard. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. And I'm just going to take the archery after I travel. And really, with the amount of hit points I have on the table, I am not worried about archery at all. I mean, the ship has 16 hit points. So I take it on the Welling Hall Preserver, and Haldir, when the Welling Hall Preserver readies, he gets to heal a damage on an Ent. So I'm going to do that. And I draw my 3rd copy of the Woodman's Clearing, which is really awesome. I mean, I would have been happy just drawing 1 of those. So that's been keeping me in secrecy this whole game. Timely Aid, let's see. Top 5 cards, get to put an ally into play. Who are we going to get? Treebeard gets a resource. And yep, why not? How about Gildor? So Timely Aids and Elfstones have been really kicking some butt in this quest. I'm running out of room to place these monster allies that I keep getting into play for cheap. So now I have Gildor on the table. He has a pretty cool ability. You can exhaust him and look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Swap out a card in your hand for one of them. And put the others back in any order you want. You see me look at my top cards for Master of the Forge and then shuffle them back in. That's because I really didn't do a good job shuffling. If you pay attention to what happened there, I basically still saw like 4 of the 5 cards from when I did the Timely Aid, so I didn't think that was a fair shuffle. So I gave it a little more of a shuffle there to be a little more fair, even though I would have liked to have gotten one of those bows in play. It wasn't a good shuffle. So I did Master of the Forge after a good shuffle there and got another resourceful in. So I've managed to get all 3 resourcefuls into play. So, just casually generating 4 resources around 6 if I use Grey Wanderer. All right, time to quest. That's when I remember that the Welling Hall Preserver could have healed a damage. So he's questing for 3. Mablung 4-5, then Galdor 6-7, Furial 8-9-10, Haldir. I think I'm questing for 12. All right, it's another one of these condition attachment things. I can't ready my ship unless I exhaust 3 characters and get rid of that. Yeah, well, I got plenty of characters to exhaust. I clear that. I get to drop my threat by 3. I'm cruising. If we're gonna use a ship reference here, I am literally just cruising right now, and that's enough to clear the 8 progress that I needed to put on that quest. So I am going to advance at the end of the quest phase, and this brings out stage 2. Okay, stage 2A, pretty simple. Add the Dreadnought to the staging area. Elite side face up. So here is the Dreadnought. The elite side, it's 4 threat, 7 attack, 4 defense. It has archery 1 per player. It's massive. It's immune. It cannot take more than 5 damage per player each round. The Dreadnought has a hit point value of 15 per player. And then at the end of the round, if the Dreadnought has less than half of its starting hit points, flip it over. And so remember, massive means it's considered engaged with everybody and attacks everybody. Side 2B of the quest says no more than 5 progress per player can be placed on the stage each round. And then remove 5 progress per player from the stage to choose any group to shuffle 1 set-aside Gondorian warship card into their encounter deck. Warship, not worship. When the Dreadnought attacks you, I can raise my threat by 4 to cancel that attack. And if the Dreadnought is destroyed, the players win the game. Alright, so my ship has one of those exhaust 3 characters to remove it attachments. So I exhaust Haldir and the Minstrels, and then I trigger the Grey Wanderer to ready Haldir and heal the 2 damage off of him right before I take the archery. And there's 5 archery now because the Dreadnought has 1. So I put 1 on the Welling Hall Preserver, 2 on Treebeard, and 2 on Haldir. And so now we will head to the combat phase. I'm going to get attacked by this massive ship. I'm defending with my ship, so it's 5 defense against 7 attack. There is a shadow. Attacking enemy is immune to player card effects and plus 2 defense. I only can do 5 damage, so I'm going to swing for 11 if possible. My ship takes 2 damage. So Haldir swinging for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if I trigger the 1 ring and strength and courage, he's attacking for 7, which is pretty awesome. And then Treebeard is attacking for 4. So that is my 11, which means I can put 5 damage on the Dreadnought, which is the most I'm allowed to put on there. Once I get to, I think 8 damage on him, he will flip. So I decide to trigger Gildor, which means I look at my top 3 cards and I put them back in any order and swap 1. So those are my top 3 cards. The reason he's good is because if I have 3 good cards coming, I won't trigger Master of the Forge. I'll just keep drawing cards. But if I don't like those cards, then I just make sure I draw the one I like next turn, swap out the one that I wanted right now, and then trigger Master of the Forge. So, it's just some deck finessing, I guess you could call it. At this point, it's win more. I mean, obviously, my board state is about as good as you could imagine for a Grey Wanderer deck. I am not nervous at all, and I've already done 5 of the 15 damage on the Dreadnought that I need. All right, the Mirkwood Explorer, he's fun. So if you quest successfully and he was committed to the quest, you put a progress token on him, and then you can choose to exhaust him and put all those progress that were on him on a location. Really fun. Also, I got the Calibrian Traveler, if I'm saying that right. He's Secrecy 2, so he only costs 1. And then he lets me look at the top card of the deck. And if it's location, I can get rid of it. But, yeah, I'm not going to get rid of that. I don't want another enemy coming out right now. Earlier, I wouldn't have minded one, but now a location is fine. So I do put in the Explorer as well. So, 2 really good allies just came into play. Questing against a total of 9 once I reveal that card. And I don't have to make progress. If I put 5 progress on the quests, I can clear that progress off to shuffle in one of those Gondorian warships. But I really don't have to. So calculating my willpower, always want to make sure I send the Mirkwood Explorer so he can collect a progress on himself. And I am sending a total of 11 against the 9. I knew what I was revealing, so I make 2 progress. I travel to that location. I believe that location doesn't let me draw cards while it's in the staging area. All right, so once again, a lot of archery coming in. I have 5 archery I have to deal with. Trying to decide who's going to take it. I think I remember I should trigger the Grey Wanderer first. So there I go. I trigger it, raise my threat. I'm going to heal the 2 damage, and then I'm going to take 2 more resources. And then Haldir is going to take 2 damage back. And then I distribute the other 3 archery amongst characters in play. Trying to... one of the fun things about filming, you got to really try to keep everything in frame. It's tricky. All right, once again, my ship defends that ship, and it's 7 against my 5 defense, so I take 2 damage. If you haven't played any of these ship quests before, only ships can defend ships, and anybody can attack a ship, but only ships can defend ships, is the basic way to think of how combat works. I'm calculating my attack. I have plenty. Trying to decide if I don't need to use strength and courage if I don't have to. Avoid raising my threat. And I do the 5 damage that I needed to. And that means at the end of the round, the Dreadnought will flip. So since I don't need the Master of the Forge, I decide to use him right now. Only 1 attachment. It's another Song of Battle. Not really a card I need. Give my deck a shuffle. And then I think I'm going to trigger Gildor, since he's still ready. And those are 3 good cards. So Gleowine lets you draw an extra card. I want my bow. I'm going to put the Song of Battle back in the deck. I want to draw the other Mirkwood Explorer. I'm sorry, I want to draw a Halith, and then I want to draw Gleowine, if I can. But it doesn't matter. I mean, this is a board state that's pretty crazy. I mean, the only thing that could really harm me is if I got like an insane amount of archery that just wiped me out. Here I make a slight mistake. I forgot to flip the Dreadnought. It doesn't affect anything in the quest phase. So what happens is you flip the Dreadnought. He's now attacking for a little less, has a little less threat. It's because it's now damaged. And it says you're supposed to take the unique Corsair enemies and reveal one at random. And the one I revealed was Varjax. Varjax. There it is. Sounds like Ajax. Varjax. He has archery 3. He's immune. I cannot attack the Dreadnought while he's engaged with me. And then each point of excess combat damage dealt by Varjax, the defending player has to deal 1 damage to a ship they control. And he's attacking for 7, and it takes 9 to kill him. So, pretty beefy enemy. So, you're not going to see during the planning phase and questing phase those cards in play. Alright, Halith. When he quests successfully, I get to search the top 5 cards of my deck for an attachment and add it to my hand. So, kind of like Master of the Forge, except twice as expensive, but he quests for 2 and still gets the ability. Amazing, amazing ally. Really, really good. Alrighty, I remembered I should have healed 1 off the Welling Hall Preserver when he readied. I can pay for the Boa Galadrium because I have the Song of Battle. So now Haldir's attacking for even more. Kind of overkill at this point, I think. Pretty insane board state. Like I said, I don't even need to make progress. I just need to add 5 damage to the Dreadnought. But I also need to kill that unique Corsair enemy once I remember to put it into play. So that's all I have to do at this point. Kill that Corsair enemy and add 5 damage to Dreadnought, and then I will win. Alright, committing to the quest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 against 7. I think I decide that's not enough. Okay, there we go. There's my math, right? So, sending a little more. Furial can get rid of this if she wants. It says after the ship, this is attached to exhaust. Deal 2 damage to it. Well, I'm not adding any threat, so I might as well just keep that. I clear that active location. I place progress on the main quests. I think I'm at 4 out of 5. I place another resource token on the Explorer. I get that attachment on my ship. I exhaust 3 characters and get rid of it. And then I trigger Grey Wanderer, which is going to ready Haldir and heal 2 damage off of him. And it's at this moment I realize I should have... wait, I should have flipped the ship. So I've already shown you what the elite side looks like. He still keeps the 10 damage. And then now I'm going to randomly get one of those Corsair enemies. And you know, the thing about Varjax is he doesn't have the pillage keyword, which I would have been fine with. He has archery 3. Remember where I said I hope I don't have a ton of archery? I now have archery 8 that I'm dealing with. Archery 8. I mean, yeah, I can handle it for 1 round, but after 2 rounds, that would really start adding up. So here I'm... yeah, 8. Okay, I mean, I can do it. I definitely have hit points, but I can't do it too many more rounds. So I'm just going to spread the archery out as much as I can. And then I got to survive these 2 attacks. And then I got to kill Varjax, which is going to take a 9 attack. And then I need to do 5 damage to the Dreadnought. Luckily, he only has 3 defense now. And the Dreadnought is also, I should say she, aren't ships. She. The Dreadnought, she only has 3 defense, and she's only attacking for 5, and my ship defends for 5. So, all right. So Varjax is going to attack after I realize, oh yeah, I got triggers here. Halith lets me search the top 5 for an attachment. So I do that. I don't ever intend on putting it in play, but hey, might as well trigger it. I got her in play, right? All right, Mablung is going to defend, and the shadow is raise your threat by 1, raise it by 3 if you have 5 or more cards in hand. So I do that. And then after Mablung dies, I should have dealt 5 damage to my ship, but I can already see the ends in sight here. So that should have put 9 out of 16 damage on my ship. Sorry about that. All right, defending 5 against 5. The shadow is same one. Raise my threat by 1, by 3 if I have a bunch of cards in hand, but I don't. Alrighty, so I take no damage there. Like I said, it should be 9 damage instead of Just the 4. All right, I have to kill Varjax. So it takes 9 to kill him. Haldir's attacking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I can double the attack that's printed, which brings me up to 8, but I needed 9. I think I thought the Boa Gladrium was attacking for 2. That's all right. I could have attacked with Treebeard and then ready Treebeard using his resources. So now I just need to muster up 8 attack. So Treebeard could attack again for 4. There's some attack there. There's attack with the Thilian Archer. Galdor's ready. The Wellinghall Preserver, I think, is ready. Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. I have a lot of attack. This, it wasn't close, but it felt good, you know? After playing Nurn so much, it just felt good to play a quest where I could draw cards and had some fun. I wish I would have revealed more ship enemies. Haldir could have been sniping them out of the staging area. That would have been fun, but it didn't happen. But that's okay. It was fun to have Haldir take down the Dreadnought, and I really enjoyed this. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.